The economy is failing and people are losing their jobs. You're in a panic to apply for unemployment and you don't know if you qualify. Don't worry, everyone will receive a stimulus check to help them stay afloat. This is what was promoted to the public as Donald Trump signed an executive order to provide families and small businesses with economic relief. I will persuade my audience that the CARES Act was not a successful and fair response to the COVID-19 pandemic to the public by challenging the three primary arguments for the CARES Act. I will give my opposition's arguments as the regulations of those who receive financial aid, the distribution of the funds, and the impact it will have on people and businesses over time. I will refute and prove false claims made without sufficient evidence. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act provided $150 billion to assist with the Paid Protection Program to assist with small businesses and provide stimulus checks to families among the United States, and was signed into act in March of 2020. After a brief introduction of what it is, I can begin to tell you about my first point, which is why the regulations of those who receive aid are inadequate. What are the regulations of those who receive aid? The regulations to receive aid include every American. I will tell you that the regulations who are talked about are not included. As stated directly in the congressional bill, in the case of a taxpayer, the amount determined shall not be less than $600, $1,200 in the case of a joint return, and the amount determined after the application shall be increased by 500 multiplied by the number of qualifying children of the taxpayer. According to the IRS, individual tax filers earning $75,000 and joint tax filers earning $150,000 will receive full payment, but the payment is reduced by $5 for each $100 above those thresholds. Single filers with over $99,000 and no children earning $198,000 are not eligible. As many college students and individuals lost their jobs to the pandemic, many of those people do not qualify for a stimulus check within the CARES Act. Also stated by the IRS, one won't be given a stimulus check if their claimed right dependent on somebody else's return. The same is true for high school students, 17 and older, and young adults, including people who are claimed by their parents as a dependent, as well as children within the mother's womb during the creation of the stimulus checks being distributed, and any individual who does not have a social security number, or anyone that has not or has previously filled out a 1040 NR form in their 2019 tax return. These exclusions of receiving government funding in the form of a stimulus check from the CARES Act, an act that was passed to help the American people. The second point we are going to look at is whether everyone received aid and if it was dispersed equally. How are the funds distributed? Everyone received aid and it was dispersed equally. Yet I am able to document proof that many did not receive aid, proving that claim false. According to the Heritage Foundation in 2020, the greatest failing of the CARES Act is the adaptation of the $600 per week federal unemployment insurance benefits, which means a majority of Americans could be making more money while they're unemployed than if they were employed. For those workers, the new unemployment benefits will replace almost 100% of their pre-crisis wages. As stated by the National Bureau of Economic Research, the first-come, first-served nature of the Paycheck Protection Program finds that larger firms were more informed and may have played an important role in the unequal access to the relief aid. Roughly 5% of the Pay Protection Program loans that were included in the Act were only given to small businesses. Larger corporations received almost $1 billion of funding. The IRS said that a stimulus payment does not count as income and you won't pay tax on it, which means many businesses who were doing well through the pandemic were able to secure a non-taxable sum of money that they did not need. A statement from the Coase Foundation says that the implementation of first-round economic support through the CARES Act often led to long delays, confusion, frustration for households trying to access their benefits. These delays almost certainly had a disproportionate impact on the economy alone. Households with low income and minimal savings would experience a delay in receiving their economic impact payment much differently from higher income and wealthier households. When looking at how many people received their stimulus check through this act, over 35 million checks have not been sent out, and many people may not receive theirs until 2021, let alone at all. because of the inadequacy of the regulations to apply the lack of those in charge to the bill and make sure the money is distributed. Now that we have discussed who is unable to qualify for benefits and who received any or how much money and how many people still haven't received anything, we can go on to talk about results of the financial aid and how it affected people and businesses for the years to come. The effect of receiving funding from the CARES Act was good for everyone and helped bring businesses back to the way they were before COVID-19. Well, actually, the majority of funding from the CARES Act didn't help support families and small businesses for a long enough period of time, and the repercussions do not outweigh the slight benefit that people received for the short amount of time. Many people and businesses were not receiving enough money to pay off loans, bills, or even support themselves. Roughly 30% of U.S. households could not either pay their bills on time or were one financial setback away from not being able to pay their bills. With the economy crippling, businesses and sizes of millions of Americans are looking to be homeless. The homeless rate could grow up to 45% the next year, according to the Columbia University, which means 250,000 additional people could be without permanent shelter compared to the 568,000 people that were homeless in January of 2019. According to the Cowles Foundation, on March 28th, 30% of correspondents believed that businesses would not recover within 2 years, and that number increased to 50% of firms reporting that businesses would not recover within 2 years on April 20th. Even with the CARES Act targeting helping small businesses, more than 97,000 businesses permanently shut down during the pandemic due to lack of funding and being deemed non-essential, and having to close with no compensation described earlier. The smallest business that had the least awareness of the government assistance programs and the slowest growth in awareness after the passage of the CARES Act and never caught up with larger businesses. While the CARES Act was intended to be a genuine effort to help people and small businesses, it did a poor job at doing the only thing it was marketed to do. Although the CARES Act was designed initially to help American people, it was proven to be unreliable and easily lenient towards bigger businesses and wealthier people, leaving those who needed it most behind with no remorse or afterthought. In conclusion, we have taken a look at how many citizens were unable to sign up to receive aid from the CARES Act, how many people and businesses did not receive aid, and the issues within the CARES Act itself and the lack of future success it brought. I hope today you learned more about the CARES Act and how it affected everyone in the United States differently, including you. I hope it helps you question the morality behind where the money was going and who it was really intended for. Also, all of my citations were from 2020, and they were all from March and later after the CARES Act was passed. And I don't know if you need to see these, but here are my note cards. I have surgery in 9 hours.